Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli with asnews.net, and this is podcast number 11, number 11, and I am podcasting to you remotely out of Corpus Christi, Texas, and we just set up a satellite studio here, and it's actually overlooking the Gulf. I'm actually in a oceanfront spot right now looking out at a nice evening, and it's beautiful out there, guys. And surprisingly enough, you know, the Gulf Coast, there are waves down here, man. There's a surf scene that's thriving and a skate scene that's thriving, and I paddled out the other day at the Bob Hall Pier, and I'm telling you, man, these guys are hungry, and by all means, there's guys that are charging. So anyway, I got Paul Lang in Carlsbad. He is tweaking the sound, making sure our levels are all good. And actually, because we are podcasting, we can do that. So anyway, we got a cool lineup today. We got Garret Mcnamara, who's a tow surfer, a big wave surfer. You know, he's a very controversial guy, very outspoken, and you know, you'll hear what he's got to say, and he's got some incredible stories, and the passion this guy has for riding big waves definitely shows. So we also have Dimitri Maramanidis. Dimitri is a kiteboarder. He's a professional kiteboarder and was a professional windsurfer, just an all-around waterman. He's going to be competing in the Red Bull event in Cape Town. Yeah, and you can hear Dimitri talk about, you know, jumping, you know, boats and huge trees and some of the consequences that are involved in that. And anyway, also, we got a lot of stuff going on. You know, we've got the Big Wave Calendar, Liquid Mountains. See it at bigwavecalendar.com. It's 13 months of the biggest waves of the world. Check that out. Some of the top photographers in the world. We've also got the Kiteboarder Calendar, kbcalendar.com. Check that out too. I know we're getting close to the holidays. Want to give those a plug. Also, lostcherry.com. I know we always talk about the LC, but this week bombs are being dropped. Actually, now you can log on to the LC, and you can go and you can take pictures with your phone, and you press a button, and they go automatically up to your account, and it's free. So now you can be anywhere and just shoot a photo, email it straight to your account. It's like magic. And there's also a new music video feature where you can add a jukebox of videos, and I just sit here at work and literally just load like 15 of my favorite videos, and it's very simple. It sounds harder than it is, but it's really simple, and I just work and I listen to my favorite music. And actually, you can go to other people's site and listen to their music too. So anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff on there, a lot of cool people. Got a lot of professional athletes on there. Andre Philippe, Bree Kamel, Clinton Bolton. We've also got Ben Wilson on there. Those are all professional kiteboarders. You've got Silverback Management, Sublime, Slightly Stupid, Lee Jaffe, who is one of the original Bob Marleys and the Wailers. There's a lot of people on there. There's also some tons of hot chicks on there. No joke. The LC is a place to be. Go check it out. There's an action sports crawler on there. You can receive all the latest breaking action sports news. You can also get that at asnews.net. The action sports news crawler is what really helps populate asnews.net. So check it out, man. We've got a great show tonight, and we'll get going on it, and thanks for tuning in. Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli with asnews.net, and we're about to deliver the Action Sports News. This week we've got Jenny Dodge on the show, again reading the Action Sports News. She's pretty much becoming a regular here. If you've been on lostcherry.com, she's actually the mail girl, so if you get mail there, this is what you hear.
You've got cherry mail.
And, yep, she looks about as hot as she sounds, and actually I think there's some more photos of her on there, so
come check it out. Yeah,
go check it out. Anyway, this week Kelly Slater, he won his 7th ASP Men's World Tour crown. Congratulations, Kelly. That's quite an amazing feat. And actually, there's some Kelly Slater trivia here. It says, in winning his 7th Foster's ASP Men's World Tour crown, Slater has broken his own record of 6 titles. Also, he was the youngest to claim the title at age 20 and is now the oldest champion at 33. Also, Kelly Slater is the highest prize money winner in the history of the sport, and now has amassed an amazing $1,303,105 in prize money. And the last but not least, the only record Slater is yet to smash is the most numbers of competition victories held by Tom Curran Curran has 33 event victories, while Slater has 31. So, yep, congratulations, Kelly. That's some, you inspire a lot of people out there, and hopefully we can get you here on asnews.net and we can talk about it. Next in the news, it looks like Stand Up for Skate Parks. Over 900 bigwigs came out for the Tony Hawk Foundation's Stand Up for Skate Parks. Audio's riders Brian Sumner, Kenny Anderson, and Joey Brzezinski did a private demo for VIPs including Lisa Kudrow, Marley Maitland, John Fogerty, Michael Rappaport, Anthony Kiedis, and Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Jacob Dylan of the Wallflowers. Tony Hawk and his friends skated the vert ramp while every person who came to the audio booth walked away with a free pair of shoes. That's pretty cool. And the Tony Hawk Foundation is pretty active in supporting the growth of skate parks and skateboarding throughout the United States. So major props to Tony. He's always doing a lot to help out the action sports industry. So anyway, I'm going to turn the rest of the news over to Jenny, and she'll do a great job. So here she is.
In other surfing news, with some overhead conditions and a strong field of local and international surfers, British surfing legend Russell Winner was crowned winner of the first ever Reef Bowl held at the Soup Bowl in Barbados. The four-man final featured surfers from Australia, England, and the U.S., and a local surfer from Bathsheba, all vying for the $10,000 prize purse. Russell, a former member of the WTC and England's most successful surfer ever, is no stranger to the water of Barbados. He's surfed Soup Bowls for the past 20 years, giving him a keen inside knowledge to where to position himself. Two teenage surfing competitors who became best friends and dreamt of becoming world champions are now vying for the same ASP world title at the Roxy Pro in Hawaii, starting this Saturday the 12th. Peruvian Sofia Milovanovic? Sophia, way to go, is defending her crown, which she won at the Roxy Pro last year by placing runner-up, but her best friend, Australian Chelsea Jorgensen, is determined to win the title. These two girls' best friend met a couple years ago. They've been dominating at this World Championship Tour, winning 5 of the 7 events held so far, with Sophia winning 3 and Jorgensen claiming only 2. The U.S. $65,000 Roxy Pro Hawaii will be held over a competition window from November 12th through the 24th, and it requires 2 to 3 days to complete in the best conditions available. Good luck, girls. And
$65,000 bucks.
That's a lot of money.
That's the biggest one I've heard so far.
Moving on to motocross, Clear Channel Entertainment Motorsports Division announced today that Toyota has signed a 3-year national agreement as the title sponsor for the AMA National Arena Cross Series. Toyota's involvement as title sponsor of the AMA National Arena Cross Series began on Friday, October 28th in Albany and sets a new precedent in the sport. The combination of off-road motorcycles and pickup trucks, though not new, is a relationship that is as significant to riders as it is to motocross itself. For the second consecutive year, the Golden Knights from the University of Central Florida clinched the national overall team title at the 5th Annual Super Collegiate Wakeboard National Championships held October 29th and 30th at the Orlando Wake Sports Complex in Florida. More than 140 riders from 20 colleges and universities competed for the team title and individual titles in 8 divisions, divided by gender and ability. Hosted by Rollins College and sanctioned by USA Wakeboard, the event featured competition in wakeboarding and wake skating and proved to be the largest collegiate wakeboard nationals to date. Central Florida won the national title after tallying over 2,500 points. Rollins College finished second with a little under 2,400, and the University of Florida rounded out the top 3 placements with 2,225 points. Louise Moore is crowned overall Mastercraft World Cup champion. After perhaps her most successful year to date, Britain's Louise Moore has ended the year in style by being crowned the 2005 Pro Ladies Overall Mastercraft World Cup champion. Speaking from her Florida home, having recently returned from the final stop in Singapore, Louise says, "I'm delighted to have been crowned overall Cup champion this year. I've worked really hard over the winter to improve my range of tricks and level of consistency, and I think my results in the Cup Tour and the World Championship in Russia show how much I've improved." She also thanks her friends and family and everybody else that supported her along the way. Well, congrats to Louise. We wish her only the best. Sebastian Torlini has signed to KTM, has inked a multi-year program with One Helmets. He will be campaigning for 4 to 5 rounds in the 2006 Nationals and the entire World MX1 schedule. Then in 2007, he will return full-time for U.S. racing. With Andrew Short, Josh Hansen, and Jason Lawrence in the 125 class, Sebastian's addition to our rider lineup is great news, and we're so excited to work with one of the most professional, determined, and nicest riders on the professional circuit. So way to go, Sebastian Tortellini.
Well, and that wraps up the news, and actually some final news. You can find all of this at asnews.net. We have the AS Newswire. We also have our RSS feed that you can subscribe to, which will send out automatic real-time alerts. We aggregate all of the action sports news, and we put it in one place. We're a portal for all of the action sports news, and also a lot of our affiliates, they help us just by pushing press releases and different kinds of action sports information, and we are the source. We are the ultimate source. We also have lostcherry.com, where we have an action sports crawler on there that actually it's programmed to go out and suck in as much action sports news out there, and so it's real time, guys. Check this out. If this is the type of news you like to listen to, there's so much more. We only have so much time to read, a limited amount. So anyway, major breaking news: the Kiteboarder magazine will be releasing its electronic PDF, and its latest issue just hit the streets. So you can go to kbmag.com and download the magazine for free, or you can go to asnews.net. So that wraps up the news, and thanks for tuning in.
Life's roll across some dance floors, filled with girls all dressed in red.
Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli with asnews.net, and we are podcasting today, and we've got a special guest out of Hawaii, Garret Mcnamara. He's one of the premier, actually he's the reigning toe surfing world champion, and he's quite a controversial guy. And what I'll do is, hey Garret, why don't you give yourself a little intro and tell our listeners who you are.
How's it going? Garret McNamara out of Hawaii on the island of Oahu. I live right at Waimea Bay, where the Eddie Aikau Invitational is held. I've been toe surfing for the last 10 to 12 years. Pretty much got into it right in the beginning. It's what I love to do, and I'm glad to be able to do it.
And so, you've been involved in toe surfing. What was kind of your evolution to getting into toe surfing, being that kind of toe surfing has evolved over the last, 8 to 10 years?
Well, I was focusing all my energy on Waimea Bay and riding the biggest waves it had to offer and trying to get barreled out there when it was just, it never really came together. Back in the day, I never really got a real barrel at Waimea, and my goal was to get barreled on a 20-foot wave. And then saw the boys out at Backyards, Laird and Derek and Buzzy, and I got my board, wanted to paddle out there to do it with them, and I just got stuck on the beach and just watched them with my jaw dropped the whole time. Then I got Dawson Jones and Charlie Walker, two friends of mine, got a boat right after that happened, and they took me under their wing and taught me everything. The reason I started toe surfing is to catch waves that are not humanly possible to catch, and to be able to position yourself in positions that you cannot position yourself in when you're paddling. You can get in so much earlier, and you can run for the shoulder, or you can stay as deep as possible and go anywhere you want on the wave. With this, with the jet ski, it enables you to do that, and that's why I do it. One, to get in positions that you are not possible to get into paddling, and two, to ride waves that are not possible to catch paddling. Those are the two reasons I got into it, mainly. The third one is the North Shore is so crowded. I tried to get away from everybody and get out there and just have fun. That's why I started surfing, because I love it and it's so fun. And it ended up being the cool new sport that everybody wanted a piece of, and I just got stuck in the middle of it, and I can't complain at all. I'm just so blessed and happy to be able to do what I love to do for a living.
Do you ever wake up some days, and the waves are cracking, and you know that you're playing with death on some of these waves? I mean, do you ever think that? I mean, I know you can't think like that, but do you ever just count your lucky stars and say, "Wow, I hope that everything works out and I get to come back to this bed"? I
have a really good, I don't know, I feel things, really sense things really well, and whenever I don't feel right, then that's the day that I won't go, and that's only happened one day. And other than that, I just have put all my faith in God, and if you have faith in God, then basically everything that happens is supposed to happen, and things will go the way they're supposed to go. But I definitely believe that you have to create your destiny here on Earth, and things that you do every day you'll go to the left or you'll go to the right, you'll go up or you'll go down. And I feel you got to do everything in your power to be fit and ready for these big waves, and then God will do the rest. If you're not, then you're not giving Him that respect, you're giving yourself that respect, then you might not come home.
Yeah, this is true, and you're surrounded by some of the best guys, the best watermen in the world, and let's give some props out to your partner Ikaika Kalama, and I mean, these are the guys that risk their hide to get you, and you risk your hide to go get them when they're in trouble. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's definitely a team sport. There is you and your partner, a team. And then you also have your support crew wherever you go, your boys that you hang with, all your friends that help you, and you help them. And the surfing world isn't really showcasing the team or showcasing the jet ski, which enables us to get there. Ikaika, my partner, I rely on him for my life, and I put my life in his hands and totally trust him with my life. And the situations we get into, it's split-second decisions. You have to be focused and you have to be there in the moment, and he is really good at doing that. He's always really focused on what's going on around him and where I am, and I try to do him as well. And he actually surfs better than me. The guy does the best snap I've ever seen. There's nobody that's close to him as far as a snap on a 20-foot wave. I have not seen one guy come close to his ability on the tail side slap on a 20-foot wave. I've never seen anybody doing anything like him. And his relationship with the water, with the ocean, is really personal and really tight. He can see what's going on in the ocean. He can see waves popping up where other people don't even realize it's going to be the wave of the day, and hear this weird bump will come out of the left side when you're looking at the right, and he'll go, we're going for this. And working with him, I've come to be able to see that as well, but I didn't quite see it as easy as him, and I'm glad to be able to work with him and help sharpen up my skills.
Well, in Kalama, I mean, he comes from, I think there's a gene in that family of just, every one of the Kalamas seems to be just so in tune with the ocean and a pioneer of the sports that we all love. Dave Kalama, for example, and so it was...
His father is actually Boogie Kalama, and he was on the first Hokulea mission, which is sailing canoe that sails from Hawaii to Tahiti and to other South Pacific islands, proving that they're all connected and they all could have came from one gene, one race, the South Pacific Brotherhood. You know, all the Polynesians are one basically, and they all could. I don't know which island they originated from or where they originated from. Some even say they originated from Peru. I don't know about that, but they definitely share something and are definitely linked, because it is possible to sail with the stars from one island to the other, from Hawaii to Tahiti. And his father, Uncle Boogie, was on the first mission to prove that.
Huh.
And that was a historic moment in time.
Well, that's great. That's some cool background information. That's what I like here. Like, I started ASNews.net because it started off with just talking to some of my friends. I'd always say, gosh, I wish there was somebody recording this phone call, because there's so much depth that can't come out in actually a written interview. So, you know, these are the background details that often get left out. But moving on, you know, let's talk a little bit about, you know, like you said, it's really important, the safety aspect of tow surfing. And there's some big issues out there, and there's some safety issues and debates going on with, you know, paddle in and towing in, and you know, the bigger picture of that, and also just all the new people getting into the sport, going out on days that they're over their head. Talk a little bit about that, and about maybe the regulation and all this controversy that's been going on in the industry lately.
They've formed, you have to be certified here in Hawaii to tow surf, which in a way is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because you may be certified but not close to qualified. And these people go take the certification test, and all of a sudden they think they can go tow surf. and they might end up in a place where they wish they weren't really fast, and it could be really bad. Nobody has died in tow surfing, so we got to count our blessings, and I hope that nobody ever does. But I think it is inevitable, and people will start passing away while tow surfing. And I just hope that the government and the governing bodies don't, get weird about that and start trying to shut it down, because, there's motorcycle racing, there's car racing, there's normal driving down the road, and people die every day in every other sport, and like I said, just driving down the road. So if somebody does finally pass away while tow surfing, which I do not want to happen, I hope they don't get weird about it. And the safety issues, there's a lot of different safety issues that need to be addressed, and doing it in small waves is good for the sport, the growth of the sport, but it's not why we do it. We do it to ride waves that are not humanly possible to catch. Now, for the sport to grow, it needs to be all over the world, and all over the world there isn't giant waves, and I got to tell you the truth, I'd have a blast when it's 6 feet and we go tow. It's funner, even 2 feet. I have the time of my life. You can get way more speed, you can do a giant aerial, you can do things that you wouldn't even imagine doing while paddling. With the power of, actually I use a Sea-Doo. To me, that's the best craft there is. With the power of my Sea-Doo, I can do things that are not humanly possible. I don't want to say, yeah, let's ban small wave towing. I don't want to say, yeah, let's go small wave tow. I want to just say that I do it to ride waves that are not humanly possible to catch, and that's why I started doing this sport. And whatever other people want to do, that's their own agenda, and I just hope things go in the right direction for the sport to be able to keep going, and hopefully it won't get too crowded in little waves and people start running each other over, and the ropes wrap around people's necks and pull their head off, and you name it, it can happen. And I just hope it doesn't go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of the footage from this last winter and some of these recent swells. It's getting crowded out there, and I know Eric Akaskalian from towsurfer.com, he's been really trying to get involved to help, and just help keep the peace, I guess, and create a governing body to kind of keep people together. But even in a lot of people's efforts to do things like that, there's controversy, and with any sport there's going to be growth, and we've seen it in so many different sports. But obviously, let's switch gears here and talk about the last October swell in Tahiti that you went down to Tiopo, and it looks like you tangled with the reef pretty badly.
Yeah, I've been down there 2 other times this summer already. It was my 3rd trip in one summer for over 30-foot faces at Chopo. And when you do that and you push it how I push it, you're bound to get hurt sooner or later. And I actually, like I said, I have a really good sense of what's going on and what's going to happen. And I had a strong feeling I was going to get hurt on the reef. And so I got, the night before, I glued pads in my wetsuit, and I got 2 carbon fiber knee braces that basically cover half of my leg, and I was ready to gladiator up and go for it. And I got out in the water, and I had my knee braces in my bag, and the waves were so good going off, and I just rushed it. Instead of doing what I was supposed to do, I rushed into the water, didn't put my knee braces on, and ended up getting scrubbed on the reef right where my brace would have protected me. And that wasn't that bad of a problem. I don't mind scratches. Scratches heal right up. My hip was fine. My knee was fine. It looked really bad. I was ready to actually go for another wave. I grabbed my board and it was broken. But the thing that was bad was earlier in the day, my very first wave, I got so deep in the barrel as I was trying to make it towards the exit, the white water exploded underneath me and lifted the back of the board up. Instead of trying to hold on to the board and try and make it, I just jumped off. And it's kind of a catch-22. You try and stay on, and you stay in the straps, and then you have the possibility of breaking your feet. But you also have the possibility of making the wave. So I chose to jump off, and as I hit the hard water, the face in front of me, both of my arms got pulled back, and it ripped my right and left arm.
Ouch.
Both of them were kind of numb for a second. the left one, the pain went away pretty quick. The right one, I had no use of my right arm the whole day, and I caught about 10 or 20 more waves after that. And I couldn't even climb onto the sled. And my motto is, if you're not 100%, you shouldn't be doing it. And I should have packed it up, but the waves are just so good. I can't I need that rush, and I see those waves, and there's nothing I can do. I go crazy and kept surfing, and I ended up scrubbing the reef. But my leg's fine, and my arm is still not 100%. So I'm not in a rush to go anywhere right now, and I got a good personal relationship with God, like I said, and whenever I'm injured, waves seem to not come, and there hasn't been a swell yet, and it's getting into the winter.
Well, that's good. You know, there's a ton of photos out there of this day, and I seen some of them, and I mean, I seen Mack trucks could have driven through some of those barrels, and I mean, what's it like driving out of a barrel at Jopo, like with that? I mean, what does it feel like? I get just the chills just thinking about being in a room like that thick.
It's the heaviest rush from start, the heaviest, shortest rush in surfing that I have found. Every aspect of the wave is life or death, especially when you're paddling. It's even worse because you got to first make the drop. When you're towing, you don't have to worry about the drop really, unless you're entering it wrong. But once you get in, you gotta get under the lip, and if you don't, you could die. And then you got to get in the barrel and come out. If you don't, you could die. And then you got to get out of the wave because it's closing out. And if you don't, you could die. So every aspect of that wave is such a heavy rush. When you're facing life or death consequences, you just get the heaviest adrenaline rush there is. And I don't know. I really had to evaluate why I do this, and I do it for the rush. And if I'm not deep and I'm not on the bubble of 50-50 making the wave or not making it, I don't get that rush. And I didn't get the rush the whole trip. The last 3 trips I had no rush in Tahiti. I got good experiences, beautiful views, probably my best view ever, the wave behind Malik, just looking at my friend concentrating so hard trying to make this wave. And I'm behind him, just checking it all out with seeing the beautiful lip come over and him, and this is the best view I've ever seen. But I didn't get any rush out of it. So I'm really rethinking why I do this, and do I need that rush? And I don't get it that often, so I'm just trying to enjoy every single wave I catch and just have fun. And I see my partner Ikaika, that's what he seems to do, is just have fun no matter what and just love it. Enjoy the moment, enjoy life, and you don't have to get that rush. And actually, you know what? The first swell, I did get that rush a few times, but the last 2 I didn't. So I remember talking to the boys, going, man, you know how it's so weird. You get up so high, and you're so high, and you got this heavy adrenaline rush going, and 1 minute later you can be down, bummed out, and not soaked at all because some situation went wrong. And it's the worst feeling ever to go that high and that low. It's definitely like a drug. So I just want to try and concentrate on having fun every moment and just enjoying every bit of it.
Well, no, that's what it's all about. That's what I've interviewed some of the who's who of the action sports industry, and it's so much different than like the interviews you hear of baseball and basketball and all the mainstream sports. Like everybody in seems to be doing, I'd say not everybody, but the most of the people that do what we do, they do it because we love it. We do it because it's fun, and we would do it for no money, even if there wasn't money on the table. And I think it's great.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that I like. I don't like to call it a job, and I don't like to have to look at it in that way, but for me to keep doing it, that's what I have to do, and it is I love surfing giant waves more than anything, so I do have to treat it like a job so that I can keep doing it.
You gotta get those plane tickets, man. You gotta get those skis. That stuff ain't cheap.
You gotta get those jet skis,
yeah.
You gotta get the hotel, you gotta get the car, you gotta get a plane ticket, you gotta pay rent, you gotta feed your kids, you got a wife, you name it. It's all going on, and it's all good, and I'm having a great time, but I do have to treat it with a professional outlook and make sure that I can keep doing it.
At the end of the day, man, we all gotta eat.
Exactly. When I go to Foodland to buy food, they go, where's the money? They don't go, let's see that wave you rode and we'll give you some food.
Yeah, you know, and it's true though. I mean, like growing up in the surfing scene, you know, it's like some of the best surfers, like some of the very best surfers that I know who are incredibly talented, they work construction just because their heads couldn't put together the business side of surfing. And you know, so I have a lot of respect for what you do, and you've definitely taken big wave surfing and really made a name for yourself. I know that a lot of it comes with, there's a lot of cameras in your face, there's a lot of media in your face. You guys have been working on some projects, an IMAX project, a Discovery Channel project. Why don't you talk about some of the videos and different productions you've been involved in or you're involved in?
Well, something that's out right now was new tow surfing movie called Down the Line. Eric Nelson and the boys from, basically they live right by Mavericks. They produced it, and you can actually find it on towsurfer.com. And you know, I have yet to receive a copy, so I can't really tell you how good it is. But all I've heard is great things about it, and I'll have to call Eric and tell him to send me one.
I think he'll probably get the message after he hears this.
Now, there's also the Discovery Channel project is going to be airing on NBC. It's a half-hour show dedicated to stunt junkies. It's the title, Stunt Junkies, and we're going to be towing in with a helicopter, and my partner and I, Ikaika and I, and that should be a lot of fun. I can't wait. That's going to be something new. I love to do new things. As long as it's new, then I have the time of my life. And the IMAX production is going really well. We've shot at Jaws once. We shot in Tahiti twice. We went out to Cortez once. This is going to be an amazing project, and it's going to invite the world into what we go through. Basically focuses on Ikaika and I and our travels around the world, and a few more key players. We got Scott Chandler, Chuck Patterson, you know, the international field. We got Carlos Burley and Geraldo. They're going to work with Shane Dorian, Ian. There's a dream team of people that we're working with, and whoever gets good waves while we're filming will be showcased. This is a really awesome project that will be aired in an IMAX theaters for the next, you know, they air those things for 30 years, so it's going to be unreal. Can't wait to air next year about this time, actually, is when it's supposed to air.
I can't wait to check something like that out. I mean, I would have never thought 20 years ago that, I remember I watched, like, the moon landing in an IMAX. It'd be pretty cool to see some big waves. Now, on another note, I know this is a question that I have for you personally. I mean, you've actually surfed some of the biggest waves in the world. I have a quote from Archie Kalapa talking about a 90-foot wave that he saw you drop into. Jaws, Tahiti, Mavs. Talk a little bit about, like, you know, the different spots and some
that wave that Archie's talking about was definitely the biggest wave I've ever ridden. Somewhat got in the barrel. It passed me by and shadowed me, and I think if you're in the shadow and you disappear from one angle, I think you could call that a barrel. I don't know, somewhat of a pocket ride. That's how big it was. I don't know. Those Billabong guys put numbers on it, and I measured how big I thought it was, and I don't know. I guess next year I'll just go straight, and maybe that's what it takes. You got to go straight to win that Billabong Odyssey thing. Paddle in and fall at the bottom, or go straight, and you can win. It says successfully ride the wave. My definition's a little different than theirs, but yeah.
Well, since we're talking about the wave at Jaws, and we're talking about the Billabong Odyssey, and actually that's one of my questions. You know, that's one of the contests, a yearly contest that goes on. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
It's a pretty awesome thing. It's great for the sport, great for the surfers who try and ride these big waves to get recognition. I think they misrepresented it, the sport of big wave riding, very poorly. They basically put it in everybody's mind that if you go straight, or tow in and go straight, or if you paddle in and fall at the bottom, you'll be awarded if you don't have to make the wave. And basically to tow into a wave, anybody can do it who wants to. If you got any type of surfing skill, you can do it. And to paddle into a wave, all you need is balls, no skill. So they've basically represented the sport, our big wave sport, as no skill needed, just go. So they're basically saying to all these guys who don't have any skill, who will end up dying out there, please come do this and die, and we'll award you.
Well, as we say here at asnews.net, we're no bullshit, and, I mean, this is a chance for you to have a voice, and I know you're a controversial guy, and, I mean, what is the message that tow surfers need to be pushing out there that's going to help sustain tow surfing? I know what it is, but I'd rather hear you talk about it.
You should, before you be able to go tow surf big waves, you should have to be able to paddle in the big waves. If you can't paddle in the big waves, you have no business towing. You're going to end up in a situation that you can't handle really fast. You'll panic and you'll die. I'd say a 40-foot face should be you should have some skill. No skill, you shouldn't be out there. There definitely should be some kind of qualified course. Certified is one thing. Qualified is a whole nother. These guys get certified and they think they're qualified, and we're ending up with a bunch of yo-yos in the water. And it's a very scary situation and dangerous because they could run into us and run over us. So it's really been represented wrong. One by Billabong, two by the city and county and the state. It's a great thing that they certify these guys, but they need to be qualified as well.
No, it's great to hear that from you, and I know that a lot of people will listen to that and probably cringe when they hear it, and it's okay, though, because it is the truth. What you guys do is, I mean, your life's on the line. All it takes is one wrong move, and someone's dead, and in the end, I mean, I don't care how much fun it's about. Like, let's keep it safe, So,
well, like I said, I don't want to promote the small wave stuff, but if they want to go do it in small waves, that's where they need to start, and I can't stop it, and it just definitely, you got to learn in small waves. So it's a real catch-22, and I would, there's guys that are going to go do it in small waves, and they're not going to get in bad giant situations, and to each his own. If they want to do that, that's their trip, and I can't say not to, and I can't say that I'd like to see it, but it is good for the sport to grow. So this is a catch-22. We're all stuck in a catch-22.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we got to wrap things up. We're kind of running out of time, but we'll definitely get you back on here because this is the season. Looks like it's just ramping up. I wanted to give you a chance to drop some bombs to whoever you need to drop bombs to. Give some props out to your friends or whomever.
All the boys who support us all around the world. You got Uncle Bo on Honolulu on Maui. You got Fletcher and Ramon in Chile. You got DDA and Ra and the boys in Tahiti, and Flea and Loya, and all the boys up in California. Scott Chandler and Chuck and Ryan, all the boys, and all my sponsors. They're all the best. I consider my sponsors my partners, and I don't really like all my sponsors, but if you want any information on anything, go to GarrettMcnamara.com, GarrettMcnamara.com. I got a lot of new GMAX surf products coming out. I am here for anybody who wants to get into the sport to help them do it properly and survive and be on the right equipment. If anybody is going to start this sport, I'd rather give them all the information and all the stuff they need to do it right, rather than try and hide it and keep everything a secret. I feel responsible to help people survive, and please contact me for any and all information you need.
We appreciate that, and I know there's a lot of photo galleries of you on towsurfer.com. I know Eric has direct links to your site as well. And hey, you guys, my listeners, I'm talking to my listeners. You guys just heard it straight from one of the world's best big wave surfers, and we're going to get him back here throughout the winter. And I just want to say thanks, Garrett, for coming on today and giving us the time. And we look forward to hearing more from you.
Okay, I'm starting to pick up, so it's a good time to hang up, and thank you for your interest, and we'll definitely love to talk with you guys later.
All right, thanks, Garrett.
Okay, bye.
just want to take a few moments to thank some of our sponsors. We'll make it quick. First off, I want to thank Silverback Artist Management. Silverback helps us with supplying us with some of the music that we have during the fills. They represent bands Sublime Estate, Slightly Stupid, Mishka, Fishbone, Beautiful Girls, you name it. These guys, Pepper, some of the biggest names, most popular names in the dub music scene. Anyway, also want to thank Slightly Stupid. Those are our boys. We work a lot with Slightly Stupid, The Ring Media, asnews.net. I mean, these guys are straight from San Diego. They all surf, they all skate, some of them kite. These guys are the real deal. So they used to tour with Sublime. If you haven't checked out their music, you can listen to it live at slightlystupid.com, and that's stupid with 2 O's. Also want to thank Extreme Hotels. Extreme Hotels is based in the Dominican Republic. Coolest hotel I've ever stayed in. It's got a half pipe right in the middle. I mean, imagine that. It's right on a surf break. You can go kiteboarding when it gets blown out. You can surf the reefs when it's when it's not blown out in the mornings. And if that doesn't do it for you, you can come in. You can skate the half pipe, and the half pipe's sick. I mean, Tony Alva was down there, and he skated it and had a blast on it. And then to top it off, there's a sick beach bar. Man, you can drink rum all day long, eat good food. You won't get sick. And this place is paradise. ExtremeHotels.com. Webcams there, live weather cams and live wind cams. Check it out. Also, want to talk about kiteboardcalendar.com. The Kiteboarder magazine and the Ring Media produced 13-month high glossy, beautiful calendar. Help support the cause, guys. It's beautiful. It's really not that much money. Also, Liquid Mountains, that's the Big Wave calendar. BigWaveCalendar.com, 13 months from around the world. The very first of its kind that caters towards the tow surfing market. Eric Ekaskalian, towsurfer.com. I mean, if you haven't checked out his site either, I mean, he's got dozens of photo galleries, videos, all kinds of stuff, towsurfer.com. So also want to give a plug out to kiteforum.com. Kiteforum's just one of our partners over in Europe. He has a ton of affiliates over there and helps us get plugged into a lot of different places. Toby over there, he's awesome. He helps us along on his site. Kitebeaches.com. It's a site that caters towards, if you want to find a cool launch, go check it out. It's basically everything's written and rated by users. So if you're a kiteboarder, it's a great resource. Also want to thank ikiteboarding.com. They're our South African affiliate. The guys are awesome, helping us get the word out. We have so many people that I like to thank. Surfersvillage.com. I mean, there's so many people that are chipping in, and I apologize if I've missed you. You can go to asnews.net, look at our affiliate sites, look at our links. That's the family that helps make this thing go around the world. We're podcasting to over 20 countries. I get emails from people from all over the place. I just the other day I got an email from a guy from Russia who runs a site called boards.ru. And I mean, this guy he was so happy to support what we're doing, and I mean, it's great to let these guys hear the voices of Tony Alva, the voices of Santiago Aguirre, the voice of Garrett Mcnamara, or perhaps Lou Wayman. I mean, everybody who I interview here, they're real. Pete Cabrina, some of the biggest names in action sports. So hopefully we can keep bringing this to you live. Also, want to thank the Kiteboarder magazine. The Kiteboarder magazine is actually what led to this. This week, actually, all of us here, we all run the Kiteboarder magazine. We do 3 different things, and it's all just a labor of love. But the Kiteboarder will be releasing its 7th issue. It just hit the streets, and then we also release an electronic version, and it's posted just about on everywhere you can find out there that we can get it posted. And we just want to say thanks to everyone who's helped us with that. NW Kites, all the affiliates who really make it happen. Kitescoop.com. FloridaKiting.com. There's so many people out there, all the shops and schools. So, hey, I just want to say also thanks to all the people who've sent in the positive words, positive emails. I mean, we wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you, and we do it because of you. We're not too cool for school here. We never claim that we're the best or the snizzle my nizzle. We just sit here and we like what we do. We have a passion for action sports, and hopefully it shows in this show. So thanks for supporting us, and we will talk to you soon. Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli with asnews.net, and today we have Dimitri Marimanidis all the way from Nags Head, North Carolina. And if any of you who don't know Dimitri is pretty much the guy who jumps all the physical objects. I mean, they've got shots of him jumping big boats, from big trees to you name it. The guy's a nut, and he goes out in hurricane swell, rides some of the craziest waves on the East Coast. And anyway, I just want to give him a warm welcome to ASNews.net. And Dimitri, why don't you intro yourself?
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Dimitri, and I guess Ryan just did everything I needed to say. Yeah, I'm here on the Outer Banks, actually trying to get ready for South Africa. But I'll be happy to help you guys in anything you want to know about kiteboarding.
Hey Dimitri, what are you going to be doing in South Africa?
They're having the Red Bull contest. It's going to be it's called the Cape Man Town, and it's going to consist of 32 countries. You're going to have Brazil, Spain, England, Greece, USA, Brazil. You got 32 countries, and what they do is each country will have 4 individual riders. So one's going to be a kiteboarder, one's going to be a runner, the other one a biker, and then a paraglider. And what it is, it's just like crossing, whoever's fastest, like a cannonball thing.
Oh wow! So who's on your team?
Actually, me, I represent the Greek, so I'm the Greek kiteboarder. Adam Cock is in the American, so that's gonna be funny. And then after that, you have, the Americans. They have, you can go on the Cape Man Town. If you do a Red Bull Cape Man Town, you're gonna see all the teams, and you can get a lot of info in that too, like who is in the teams. But each country has one kiter, and then they have one runner, one biker, and one paraglider.
Actually, we talked about that last week in AS News when we did our newscast. And so, yeah, you can find out more information of that, more information about that on asnews.net. We'll have it linked there. But that's really interesting. The events that Red Bull's doing. They're always cutting edge in terms of creating a new format. And you're going to definitely have to keep us in the loop of how that thing goes down.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully, I can. Like I said, I've had an injury, like a pinched nerve or a stretched nerve on my shoulder, so I cannot move really my shoulder. That's good because I can go back and forth, no problem. And that competition will be, back and forth. That's it. So that's cool. That's pretty nice. So hopefully my shoulder gets back.
Dimitri is the guy that I've seen him really almost kill himself. I hate to say it, but he pushes that envelope of that high end of kiteboarding, the danger level, and talk about some of the disasters you've had, and then also some of the things that you've pulled off.
Well, it's I'm trying to forget about all the disasters, because if I always put that in mind, it's kind of scare me to go to the next level. But I've had a very close encounter with with death. I broke my back, I broke my head, I broke my feet from landing over trees, or jumping from trees, or jumping from big cliffs. So there's been a lot of accidents. It's just like the part of what I do, So, but that's not only the thing that that's why a lot of magazines are afraid to publish some of the pictures, because we do have crazy pictures on that. It's because then other stupid people are going to try to do the same thing, and then people are going to get hurt.
See, I don't agree with that at all. I think that's actually really faulty rhetoric, because on every sport that we see in motocross jumping guys doing backflips. That doesn't go and make little Billy want to go do a backflip. We all know that it takes a lot of training and a lot of time on the water to be able to get to that level. So, I hear about that all the time, and you and I both know, because we both kiteboard, we actually ride, that, you can't just go out and go and jump 50 feet. It takes a lot of time on the water.
Yeah, I know. That's,
So, you know what? We'll print any photo you want in the Kiteboarder magazine.
But, you have other people that really, big enterprise and companies that don't want to be behind and, get sued or whatever. So, but,
No, I understand. Everybody. This is the society that we live in, right? Hey, you can drive a car and get smashed up on a highway,
right,
just as much as you can get smashed up with a kite, just as much as you can get smashed up on a surfboard. The fact is, it's action sports.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, let's move on. Let's talk about the kites. Let's talk about the evolution of the kites. I know we're in a new design era with kiteboarding. We had Ken Winter on here last week talking about I don't want to call it the bow kite, the flat kite, or what, there's all these different types of names for it. So you guys, we talked a little bit before this interview, you guys call it the bow kite.
Yep.
Why don't you talk a little bit about Airush's bow kite?
Yeah, I mean, see, it's like Airush bow kite is pretty much the same thing than the Cabrina kite. The crossbow is the same thing, but more advanced, more like Type 2, for example. It's rectified, Crossbow from Cabrina came out, and then, of course, other companies bought the rights to be able to make the same kite. So what Airush did is they spent the money, they bought the rights to make it, and they tried to make it even better. So it's kind of a crossbow to Type 2. But what they did work on it was the bar. They made a very, very nice bar because with those kind of kites, there's a lot of pressure on your arms. So what Airush did is we came up with a bar that has kind of it feels like your arms never get tired because of there's kind of a small bungee jump loop on the bar that makes it very easy to ride the kites. I mean, people say those kites are the future, So me, personally, I really don't like them. But those kites are not meant for everybody. Just like a specific type of riders that will use those kites. But yeah, Airush, even Nash is coming up with the same thing. But Nash, they use that kite for waves. It's not just that this kite is for that bow kite is for waves. So different companies going to try to advertise them for different riders, different type of style. But the thing is, you never know. Look, 5 years ago we had 4 kites, and then the new kites came up like we have now, and everybody was making fun of them. And look at now, they took over. So now we have the bow kites coming out. People are making fun of it. So maybe in 2 or 3 years, pushing the limit and trying to make it better, maybe those bow kites will be the elite.
Yeah, and you said something very important here, and I want to just clarify too. I know that you represent Airush. You're saying that what is the name of the Airush kite? What do they call their model of bows?
The Halo.
The Halo, the Airush Halo.
Yeah, and it comes in 14 meter, 10 meter, and 7 meter kites.
Okay, and I know that Cabrina has also come out with another kite, and I know that this is a space and a category in kite making that everybody's really pursuing and putting out new models. But the most important thing that I heard you say is that you don't necessarily like the bow kite.
Well, it's for different riders. I mean, me, I don't like it because I always have to look where the kite is because it works on pulleys and you never feel like the pressure of the bar. So when I do my stuff, I do have a different style than everybody else, a mixed style. It's very hard to see where the kite is, feel where the kite is. You always have to look at it. And it's something that you have to get used to it. So that's one thing that really I don't like about it. The other thing that I don't like about it is that it feels like a low aspect kite. It always pulls you. There's a lot of pull into it. And I don't like, it's just, I guess you have to get used to it. And I'm so used to the other kites, that I can kite better on the other ones. But it's also, let's say you put me on an island for 10 days and put me on those kites for 10 days, maybe after that I'll come out of the island and say, oh, okay, well, I'm used to those kites. I like those kites better. And probably, I guess, you got to spend time on it. But right now, I can do so many stuff with the other kites, the other style, the old style, that, I want to stick on it because I love those kites.
And that's really an important point here, You basically just said it and you hit the nail on the head that the old kites work good too. And they aren't old kites. They're actually new kites. There's companies that are not pursuing flat kite or bow kite.
Yeah.
This is a new technology, and what we try to do here on ASNews.net is leave the propaganda and the marketing out. We try to really pick the brains of the designers and give our listeners actual facts so that they can go out and make choices for themselves. And I've heard a lot of really good things about the flat kite design and bow kite designs, and I've heard it seems to be the same comments every time, is that it's a viable new technology, but it's in its infancy. That's
it. That's what So maybe in 2 or 3 years, that might be the kite. Because right now there's some problems with that kite. It's good because it's safer than any other kites out there. If you push the bar, it's already powder kite, so you don't get pulled. sure that the customers, the riders, are out there kiting, have to, priority is safety. So that's what the crossbow comes in as. The crossbow, the halo kites, all those bow kites, flat kites. That's what safety is the main concern. But if you take like us, pro riders are used to fly on normal kites, and those kites are not meant for us right now. But maybe in 2 or 3 years, when things start more involving and more tweaking the kite, that might be the thing. It's hard to say. I mean, for example, yesterday I was kiting on the 12 reactor from Aerosh, which is a normal fast kite. It's 12. And it was blowing 18. I got out of the water. I gave it to another friend of mine who's a rider for Cabrina, and took it, and he couldn't believe it. Then he got back out and he went on a switchblade, which is a new bow from Cabrina, and he didn't like it compared to the reactor.
And I think a lot of that too comes down to what you were saying about time on. Like you've spent how many years flying, traditional shaped kites?
5 years.
I mean, it's going to take. I watched Jesse Richmond on the Cabrinas, and I watched Sean Richmond over in Maui at the King of the Air, and I mean they were pushing.
Oh yeah, they were. Of course, don't take me wrong. You can hold more kites in those kites, and I'm just gonna. I can jump as good as with this kite and a flat kite, but the hang time might be longer with the flat kite. I mean, you saw it in Maui. I mean, all those guys jumping in normal kites. You see how high they were going, but then also you see Jesse with the bow kite, flat kite, still jumping high, but staying in the air longer.
Yeah, the glide on those kites is, and also too, Jesse, what does he weigh? Like 100 pounds soaking
that's
wet?
Another thing too. So, yeah, it was pretty light. But I mean, you saw all the other riders with normal kites that were still, freaking jumping high. So what I know and what I've seen is people that know how to really, know how to kite and really know how to jump and stuff like that can jump as high as a bow kite, higher than, as good as a bow kite. But other riders that not really are into jumping and they're starting to kite and they've been kiting, they're staying upwind, they start to jump, they can jump better on the bow kite.
Well, and you said something about safety too. I keep hearing that, from everyone as well, that the bow kite is a really safe kite, and it's a very stable kite. So, it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes. And the most important thing is the fact that we have choices.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's why, I've been on the forum here, especially on the Aerosh Kite forum, people are talking about, what should I get, the halo kite, which is the bow kite, or the reactor, or the lift, which is the normal kite, So I'm like, the best thing for you is to try them, because it's so different. People want to mix those two. And it's kind of hard, because then you get used to one, then you go with the other one, and it feels totally different. You don't, it's a kite that, actually, at Aerosh, what we're doing is the halo kite, which is a flat kite, like the crossbow, we're targeting this kite more for people that are very conservative with the kites, and riders that are more like, like the average Joe kite people, because it's easier to relaunch. It's also mentally you feel safe, safely on that. If a gust comes, you can always, kill the power totally. So it's more like for more mid-range kiter. That's what we pushing the kite for.
Well, let's get off the kites and let's start talking about boards. I know that you've ridden every variety of board. What are you riding these days?
Aerosh. Those are actually Aerosh 2006 came up with it's easy for me to say, the best board, but I'm very, when I don't like a kite or I don't like a board, I'll tell you the truth. That's why customers and people really like me, because they do believe in my judgment. But so far this year, I think Aerosh has one of the best. Aerosh has like 32 boards, kite boards, 32 of them. That's a lot of boards. I'm not saying all of them are unbelievable, but this year Aerosh is going to, unbelievable with the boards. Everybody, I let people try the kites and the boards. Let's talk the boards now, and they couldn't believe the boards, and also the price has dropped too. Right now, I have few boards, but for light wind, I use the Exile, which is 132 by 47. That's another thing is they're making the board a little bit shorter, but very wide. It's like windsurfing, and it planes in no wind. So those are remember like last year or 2 years ago, the shorter was everybody was going shorter board. Now it's like, whoop, it start going up now, you know. So
You know, I did see that trend, and it seemed to work for flat water, but anybody who's ever ridden any waves, I mean, come on. I mean, you try to go and smack a lip with 2 inches of board in front of your foot.
you got it. So like right now, me personally, I ride the Pro Toy 120 centimeter and the X-Pact 127 and the Exile, plus the wakeboard, which is called the Hammer from Airrush. Those are the boards I'm riding for 2006. Those are the new boards. But you know, also we're talking about those are the. I mean, you have 32 kind of boards, so you know it's very hard to get 32 boards with you. But
do they actually give you 32 boards, man? That would be like a really cool job to have 30.
Yeah, that's the thing. It'll be freaking a pain because you have all those boards. No, I have like at least 12 boards.
You'd need a garage just for 32 boards.
Got it. You got it. Now, right now I got like 12 boards. 12 boards. And but my best boards, the ones I always travel with, are like 3 or 4 of them, and they're not bigger than 130.
And who's shaping those boards?
Colin McCollin.
Colin, man, he's a wild man. I met him in Mauritius, which is an island right off of Madagascar. I shot the Airrush photo shoot.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
A couple of years ago, and that guy's a wild man. He's a good rider too.
Yeah, Colin, and he shapes because everybody's like, oh, is Aaron Hadlow on Airrush? Because he shapes for Aaron, the boards, and all the boards are looking for the like Airrush boards. So everybody's like, oh, those Airrush boards, I mean, they're not. They're a Colin's board, but Colin is the main shaper, is the shaper for Airrush. So there's a little bit of confusion there when they see Alan on the board. But yeah, no, the Airrush are killers this year. I mean, especially the Pro Toy, which is a double concave board. With the funny thing is that they have a sexy woman on the bottom of the board, like half naked and really beautiful woman. So if you get lost, in the island, like the movie, you're not gonna have the ball, the volleyball Wilson. You can have your board with it.
That's true. Hey, speaking of being lost on islands, there was one of the magazines out there, and the rumor has it you were doing a rally in a woman's bathing suit.
Next question.
I bet you never expected that one to make the magazine.
Yeah, that was like, 2 years ago, okay?
Well, I want to congratulate you. You did make 2 covers this year. I think that's great. You shoot with a lot of different photographers. Gustav Schmij, who's I think one of the top photographers in our sport. He shot the last cover for one of the magazines out there. And what do we have to look forward to, and where do we look forward to seeing you, I guess?
Well, there's few pictures coming up. Actually, I'm gonna show you. I don't know if probably Gustav sent you some. But yeah, no, there's from the Brazil trip. That was before I think before I got my other accident. That's something that I hope no one gets. I mean, something that doesn't hurt. But somehow from landing hot or whatever, from doing new tricks, I pinched a nerve like I saw my shoulder in Brazil while I was filming. And the next day I went kiting, and then after a week, slowly I start losing strength on my right arm. And then after 8 days, I couldn't even lift my arm. And it's been a month like that. And it's unreal because there's no pain. You just cannot lift. It's like it's stuck. So I hope no one, if someone gets that, they can call me. I'll tell them what to do. But, there's some very unreal pictures coming up from Brazil. I mean, it's like, you have to see it. It's me coming down, kiting on the dunes with a Jeep next to it, the car coming down. I mean, it's some cool pictures, yeah. So.
Well, we know that you're definitely a showman. I mean, just off the top of my head, I can think about you jumping over the peninsula in Greece, the one where you're jumping over all the beachgoers, which
yeah.
That probably wasn't the smartest move, but hey,
But hey, whatever it takes for,
You have the one of you jumping off of the cliff in Barbados.
Yeah, that was crazy too.
And then you have jumping the boat in, where was that, Paros Islands?
Yeah, that was in Paros, yeah.
And then there's too many to there's the one of you actually out on a hurricane swell, and you're like about 40 feet over a windsurfer.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, this guy, it's no joke. I mean, kiteboarding's strange. There's just a lot of jealousy in it a lot of times with the pros, and I gotta say that maybe Dimitri he doesn't have the U.S. wake style completely dialed in, like with the way that some of the guys are pushing it, and he receives some criticism there. But I can tell you that a lot of those guys don't do what Dimitri does, and in terms of going big. And
I want to put a point on that. It's like everybody I've been talking. I mean, like you said, even you said that I have a different style. I kind of combine boards off with wake style with everything. So I don't want to concentrate too much on wake style. I want to put like martial arts. I mean, I'm a black belt in karate, and I just mixed because I do karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu. I mix the martial, the arts. So then you come up with your own kind of style, which helps. Same thing with kiteboarding. That's why, I mean, wake power move. I don't really like it because kiteboarding is more about hang time and doing things very high. So that's why I like taking kind of a wakeboard style and putting into my own style and creating, own style. So that's why, people tell me on the beach, you have a unique style. So
I think it's honestly really fun to watch. You're one of my favorite people to actually shoot photos of and to like receive photos of, because usually they're just spectacular jumps, spectacular crazy tricks, and all I can say is that I like when someone has their own style. I think there's too many people that follow other riders like sheep in this sport, and I wish that more people would take use their mind and create some new tricks, because not everybody should copy Dre, and not everybody should copy Bertrand. I mean, those guys are the guys who made their style. Yeah. So I want to advocate everyone just pushing the limits and pushing their own style.
Yeah, make their own style. But the thing is, it's like Andre, Martin, Jeff Tobias. I mean, it's like me. I've seen. They're friends, and what I do is I see their style, and I take that one. I can use this and put this in mine and make something better out of it. For example, last time I was watching a beginner kiting, and the beginner did something. Something because he has no control of the kite. It wasn't really beginner, but he couldn't stay upwind, and something he did a move, and he crashed. But that move looked really, really impressive. And when I watched, like, holy cow! Let me take this and try to incorporate this into a style, into a move. And boy, wait until you see that. It came out really nice.
Well, and I remember, like, seeing, there's a photo of you where you're, like, doing a handstand and you're riding your board and flying your kite. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's gay. But you know what? Like, now I look at that and I go, that's really cool. I mean, it's different. It's totally different. And you know what? You weren't taking it really serious when you were doing it. You're just having fun. And
yeah. No, that's the thing is, that's why also I don't really compete too much anymore, because, I just rather go and have fun and kite more, in the water. Competing is, it's for young people, people that, look if you go to the PKRA now, look who's the oldest guy. I think probably now maybe Ruben's getting older. The oldest is probably 21 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody's so dang young, everybody. And they're all, most of the kids are from Europe.
Yeah. And then, they're killing it.
Yeah, they definitely are. Hey, we got to wrap this up, but I want to, I know our listeners would be really stoked to hear, like, maybe a few tips on how they can jump bigger.
Well, actually, you need wind. That's one most big factor in kiteboarding. You need wind, and you don't want to be really overpowered on a big kite. So if it's going like 25, let's say, you don't want to be on the 16 or 15 kite. Go with the 12. And it's kind of hard to say. You have to be there to show you. But the thing is, something big, what you want to do is edge hard, and do not release your edge until you pull the kite. And you'll jump high. I've seen people edging, and they go to pull the kite, and then they lose their edge, and they're going downwind. Then they won't, they jump long, but they don't jump high. So it takes,
That's what usually happens to me, Dimitri. I think I need some jumping lessons from you.
I've seen you jumping.
I'm just kidding. Hey, one quick thing as we do here on asnews.net, we always let you drop some bombs for your peeps out there, so why don't you drop some bombs?
What kind of bomb you want?
Well, I'm just saying, I know you're Greek, so, my little California slang probably doesn't translate, but meaning you can say thanks and hello to whoever you want to say hello to.
Oh, you mean that kind of bomb?
Yeah, those kind of bombs.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank everybody out there, all the kiters, all the community of kiteboarding. Be safe, and hope one of those days, since I travel a lot, I'll meet you, beach and we can all go kiting. And it'll be my pleasure to help you out on how to improve your skills.
And where can people get a hold of you at?
They can email me, Dimitri@airrush.com.
Awesome, Dimitri. Well, thanks for coming on today, and why don't you hang out on the line?
Okay, I will. Thanks.
Well, you know what time it is. Fred the Rooster's piping in. The sound of the rooster means that, yep, we've expunged our time here at asnews.net, and it's time for us to say goodbye. So we just want to thank everybody for listening this week. We've had some great guests, and want to thank Garrett for coming on and giving us the lowdown on what's going on in the tow surfing industry and big wave surfing world. Also want to thank Dimitri Marimanidis. Dimitri was very outspoken about kite design, and it was really cool to have him here. And and just want to thank all of you for continuing to believe in us and what we do and supporting us like you do. So next week we got some really cool stuff planned, man. All I can say is it just keeps getting better. If you can do something for me, log on to lostcherry.com, check it out, see what's going on there, check out the new functionality of the mobile phone photo capability, upload capability. It's free. There's a lot of good information there, and really there's an action sports crawler on there. You populate it on there, and when you populate it, it delivers you real-time action sports news. And if you want to go to asnews.net, you can go there and also check out more videos and more action sports news. So at any rate, thanks for tuning in. Come hang out on the LC with us. There's a lot of cool people, a lot of fun people on there. And also want to thank the staff here at the Ring Media, asnews.net, the Kiteboarder Magazine. Everybody's been working hard and just trying to make this happen. So, hey, as we always say here, we're not very good at all the sports we talk about, but we all do them, and it doesn't matter. Because you know what? It's not about being too cool for school. It's about having fun. And, as we talk to the legends of our sports, I mean, these guys have no attitude, and neither do we. So let's keep the attitude out and keep the fun factor up. So, hey, we'll talk to you next week. And again, thanks for tuning in.
Did you feel it? On the road. On the